2025 has been an absolute banger year for gacha games. We had releases like Goddess Order, which unfortunately announced they were shutting down, Black Beacon, which unfortunately announced they were shutting down, Etheria Restart, Chaos Zero Nightmare, Do It, Night Abyss, Stellosora, absolute fantastic gacha games that have taken the world by storm and secured themselves as good quality games with millions of players all around the world. But 2026 is right around the corner, and I want to talk to all of you about every single game releasing in 2026 or 2027 that we currently know of. So buckle up, because this is quite the list. Let's start this off with Ananta. And I know what you're thinking, Ananta isn't a character gacha game anymore. That's totally fine, but I still want to include it here because most of us are still going to play it because it's very much so a gacha game, just without the character gacha, instead cosmetic gacha, maybe vehicle gacha, maybe other types of gacha as well that we just don't know about right now. This is an upcoming free-to-play urban open-world RPG that is developed by Naked Rain and published by NetEase. The game has been described as an anime GTA ever since its first reveal. It is set in the sprawling Manhattan-sized Nova City, where players act as elite agents investigating paranormal phenomena and urban chaos. While originally speculated to be a gacha game, as I noted, the devs confirmed just a couple months ago that the use of a gacha system is not going to be present. Instead, all playable characters are unlocked through story progression and exploration, with gacha being used for cosmetics, among other things. The combat is a fast-paced 3D action brawler system. You can transition from swinging between skyscrapers, one of the game's methods of traversal, to dropping down directly into a brawl. The game is currently in development for PC, PlayStation 5, Android, and iOS. Arknights Endfield is an RPG from Hypergriff. This is set in the same universe as the popular tower defense game Arknights, with a focus on building several massive industrial bases. The game is officially scheduled for a global release on January 22nd, 2026 for PC, for PlayStation 5, and for mobile devices. Unlike its tower defense predecessor, Endfield uses a real-time squad-based action system, with all 4 members of your squad being on field at the exact same time, utilizing strategic and industrial elements. Axis of Eternity is an open-world 3D action RPG developed for PC and mobile platforms. It was revealed back in 2024. The game is notable for its high-fidelity anime art style and an emphasis on urban exploration and fluid traversal. It utilizes a fast-paced, real-time action combat system and will be releasing onto PC, Android, and iOS. Azur Field Warship is a 3D tactical RPG that serves as a modern spiritual successor to the Warship Girls series, taking heavy inspiration, at least in terms of aesthetic and style, from Azur Lane. It features anthropomorphized warships and is currently in development for mobile and PC platforms. Azur Promilia is an upcoming anime-style open-world fantasy RPG developed by Mongil, the creators of Azur Lane. This is a bright, vibrant game with a functional creature collection system, building, farming, and housing systems as well, much like Pow World. Combat is a real-time action system that integrates character abilities with creatures summoned, something relatively rare for this genre. It is also releasing onto PC, PS5, Android, and iOS. Chasing Kaleidorider is a 3D urban fantasy romance RPG. Yeah, you did hear that correctly. Developed by Tencent's Physically Studio. The combat is a semi-real-time chase battle system that combines high-speed motorcycle action with strategic card-based mechanics. The game entered its first major closed beta test in September 2025 and has a confirmed release at present onto Android and iOS. Codename York is a beautiful RPG with a high-fidelity 2D HD pixel art style. As of December 2025, the game has primarily been showcased through revealed trailers and is expected to launch onto PC, Android, and iOS. The combat in Codename York features a turn-based JRPG style system. Dragon Sword is an open or semi-open world action RPG developed by Hound 13, featuring some of the original developers that made the Neverness MMO. They've already held beta tests, and from what we've seen, the game is absolutely gorgeous. It is built on Unreal Engine 5 and is planned for a global release onto PC, onto mobile, and potentially console somewhere down the line. Echoes of Vision is an urban supernatural tactical RPG that held beta tests over the last year in China. It features a turn-based tactical system heavily inspired by XCOM, emphasizing positioning and environmental awareness, meaning that this could potentially be a great alternative to Girls Frontline 2. Gate of Gates is a strategic tower defense gacha game developed by Lake Trail. It was just revealed at G-Star 2025 and seems to center on a subculture anime aesthetic featuring a military-themed narrative set in a dark, near-future world, also kind of reminiscent of Girls Frontline. We look at the trailer and you look at the artwork. It supposedly differentiates itself from traditional tower defense games by blending classic lane defense mechanics with dynamic deck building. Heaven Hells is an urban anime RPG developed by Clover Games, the Korean studio behind Lord of Heroes. You'll take on the role of a captain commanding elite female warriors called witches in an effort to reclaim the world. The game features a strategic turn-based combat system played out in high-fidelity 3D environments with pre-registration for the global version opened in December 2025. Honkai Nexus Anima is a creature collector adventure strategy game developed by HoYoverse. It shifts away from the real-time action combat of Honkai Impact 3rd and the traditional turn-based combat of Honkai Star Rail, and instead turns towards a strategic auto chess system. The game officially completed its first beta test in late September 2025. It is planned for a global release onto PC, onto Android, onto iOS, and very likely PS5 sometime in 2026 or 2027. Jijui Qifeng Journey was a 3D urban fantasy RPG intended for mobile and PC, set in a world blending ancient Chinese aesthetics with high-tech machinery. And I do use the term "was" here because in September 2024, the developer dissolved their studio. But they did not opt to officially cancel the game fully, with NetEase now holding full rights to the IP, but no future currently confirmed. Limit Zero Breakers, which some of you might actually remember as Breakers Unlock the World, is an anime-styled action RPG developed by Vic Game Studios, the creators of Black Clover Mobile. The combat is a fast-paced, real-time hunting action system that you can compare to something like Monster Hunter due to its focus on skill-based mechanics and massive boss encounters. The game is scheduled for a global release on PC via Steam, Android, and iOS in the first half of 2026, with a closed beta test starting in the first quarter of 2026. MIRESI is a tactical RPG developed by Control 9 and published by Smilegate, with team members comprised of ex-NIKKE and Seven Knights 2 devs. You'll take on the role of a counselor leading an all-female squad of time-traveling heroines to prevent a temporal collapse. The combat is a hybrid system that blends real-time action with grid-based tactical positioning. It is also targeting a worldwide release in 2026 onto PC, Android, and iOS. Mongil Stardive is an anime-style monster collecting action RPG developed by Netmarble. The combat is a real-time action combat system with a confirmed global release onto PC via the Epic Games Store, onto PS5, onto Android, and iOS in the first half of 2026. Neverness to Everness is a beautiful free-to-play urban open-world RPG developed by Hada Studio with a functional dating system, tons of mini-games like Tetris and fishing, a prison system, the incredibly degenerate ability to hold hands, and so much more. The combat is a high-speed 3D action-based combat system that focuses on cinematic flair, with a global release confirmed for 2026 onto PC, PS5, Android, and iOS. Several beta tests have already been held up until this point, with one more confirmed for 2026 before release. The new open-world NIKKE Gacha game is developed by Shift Up and published globally by Level Infinite. This is the studio's next major subculture title, and while not a direct sequel to Goddess of Victory NIKKE, it is their flagship upcoming cross-platform RPG built on Unreal Engine 5. While not releasing specifically in 2026, they did state that they were aiming for a 2027 global launch. Yo, I don't mean to interrupt the video, but I need to take a moment here to thank all my incredible patrons over on Patreon whose support continues to allow for me to do regular videos like this every single day on this channel. Thank y'all so much, including our YouTube channel members. You guys mean the world to me. So do you guys as viewers as well. Now, without further ado, let's continue. Petit Planet is a cosmic life simulation game developed and published by HoYoverse, taking heavy inspiration from Animal Crossing. It features no traditional combat system, instead focusing on real-time life simulation mechanics and world building. The game conducted its first major closed beta test, the Coziness test in November 2025. It is also planned for a cross-platform release onto PC and mobile devices, probably console as well. Project 2/3 Utopia is an anime-style open-world RPG developed by Diversity Game Studio. This is set in a multi-dimensional world where reality shifts between 2D and 3D perspectives, with players traveling through different timelines. It features a high-speed, real-time action combat system. Is confirmed to be releasing onto PC and mobile platforms. Project BangBang is a mature, female-oriented, narrative-driven RPG with a noir mafia aesthetic. The combat focuses on a tactical card system where characters represent different mafia units or skills. It has completed several closed beta tests in 2025 and is expected for a full release onto PC and mobile in 2026. Project Crescent is a high-quality turn-based RPG with beautiful character models and great-looking environments. Little is known of the game outside of what I just noted, unfortunately, but test phases are no doubt coming. Project Nami is a cross-platform action multiplayer online RPG developed by Kudo Games, built on Unreal Engine 5, set in a new original fantasy intellectual property that blends an age of machinery and magic with a retro-futuristic steampunk aesthetic. Little is known about the game at present other than its 3D mobility and verticality being inspired by games like Gravity Rush. It is also currently aiming for a simultaneous global release onto PC, mobile, and other platforms. Project RX is an anime-style lifestyle RPG developed by RX Studio, a new internal division of Nexon Games. It features several key developers from the Blue Archive team and is being built on Unreal Engine 5 for PC and mobile platforms. While specifics are still a little bit vague here, we do know it is going to offer a strategic character-driven system that evolves the mechanics of Blue Archive. Rewinding Cadence is an anime-style open-world action RPG developed by Saroasis Studios with a unique twist, a Dungeons & Dragons-inspired dice roll element triggering during dialogue and influencing story paths. It features a real-time action combat system with a blend of tabletop-inspired strategic elements. It entered into its first testing phases in China mid-2025 with a global release confirmed to be on the way, hopefully releasing simultaneously onto PC, Android, and iOS. Scarlet Tide Zero Era is a 2.5D urban adventure RPG developed by Yomio Be Young, featuring an all-male cast. The combat system blends real-time movement with tactical squad mechanics with a 2.5 down top-down isometric perspective. It is also releasing globally onto PC via Steam, Android, and iOS. Shining Embers is a dark fantasy open-world ARPG developed by Hin Tuanhu. The game officially launched its public beta test in China on October 15, 2025, after garnering over 350,000 pre-registrations. The combat is a fast-paced top-down isometric perspective action RPG system that blends elements of Diablo brawling with modern bullet hell mechanics, offering something a little more unique than what we're typically used to. Silver Palace is an open-world action RPG developed by Silver Studio, built on Unreal Engine 5. It is the first game of its kind to be set in a sprawling Victorian-themed metropolis. The combat is a fast, fluid action combat system that combines melee with tactical defensive mechanics, including takedowns and a fully functional third-person shooter system. It is releasing onto PC, PS5, Android, and iOS. Starwill is a 2D urban fantasy RPG developed and published by Starry Sky Studio, utilizing a traditional strategy-focused turn-based system. It has undergone numerous test phases over 2024 and 2025 and has a planned release onto PC, Android, and iOS. Star Sailors is an anime-style fantasy RPG developed and published by Come to Us Holdings, featuring a strategic turn-based combat system. It underwent its first phase of closed beta testing recently, and unfortunately, while I didn't personally get in, what I did see looked pretty solid. It looks like a full global release is in the works, with PC mobile functionality confirmed. Star Savior is a 3D urban fantasy training RPG developed by Studio B-Side, the creators of Counterside. It features a strategic turn-based system mixed with roguelike management elements. The game launched in South Korea and Japan on November 20, 2025, with a global release officially scheduled for March 2026. It is confirmed to be releasing onto PC, Android, and iOS. Suikoden Starleaf is a cross-platform RPG developed by Konami and Mithril. It is the first original entry in the Suikoden franchise in over a decade, and I genuinely could not be more excited given Suikoden 1 and Suikoden 2 are two of my favorite JRPGs of all time. All 108 Stars of Destiny can be obtained without any gacha at all, completely through the story itself, the gacha instead being for legacy characters. Its combat blends the series' classic turn-based style with modernized mobile-friendly mechanics. It is also releasing globally onto PC via Steam, Android, and iOS. Unfortunately, no confirmed console release at present. Terrarium is an urban subculture action shooter developed by Jipon, a Korean studio made up of ex-NIKKE and Destiny Child devs. It's set in a post-apocalyptic future where you'll command squads of waifus and mechs to reclaim the world. It is a third-person shooter with strategic combat releasing globally onto PC, mobile, and consoles, confirmed for the first half of 2027. The Seven Deadly Sins Origin is an open-world action RPG developed by Netmarble, set in the world of the anime of the same name. Unlike Grand Cross, their other Seven Deadly Sins gacha game, this features a real-time action combat system along with elemental reactions. It is confirmed to be releasing on January 28, 2026, 1 week after Arknights Endfield for PC, PS5, Android, and iOS. Varsapura is a supernatural open-world RPG developed by Hoyoverse, built on Unreal Engine 5. The combat is a real-time action system with what seems like various different methods of traversal and takedowns, just like Silver Palace. While still in early development, it is expected to release onto PC, Android, iOS, and console. Viridity Dreamland is an anime-style side-scrolling action RPG developed by Green Dream Studio. The combat is a high-speed 2.5D horizontal action system that emphasizes aerial mobility. It had a closed beta test back in September 2025 for both mobile and PC, which confirms that those are the platforms it is going to be releasing onto globally. Xunjing is a fantasy-themed urban open-world action RPG developed by NetEase, built on Unreal Engine 5, blending high-speed action combat with third-person shooter mechanics, creating a fun hybrid of both genres. The game is still in active development, and I'm unsure of whether or not a test phase has been held yet, but it does seem to be releasing onto both PC and mobile. Wang Yue is an urban fantasy open-world ARPG developed by Star Studios with an incredible level of creative freedom, honestly. It held numerous test phases up until this point and has seen a significant improvement over the course of the last 2 years. The combat is fast-paced, real-time action with the ability to capture and summon creatures. You can also build vehicles from the ground up with any object you find out in the world, providing unparalleled freedom. It is currently in development for PC and mobile devices. And that is every gacha game that I can remember off the top of my head that is releasing next year in 2026 or 2027 onto PC, onto mobile, onto console devices. There are so many here. I feel like I've mentioned at least 2 or 3 dozen gacha games for all of you to look forward to. 2026 is going to be an absolute banger of a year, and this right here only scratches the surface. New gacha games release literally every week or other week, and new gacha games are constantly being added to the list of games releasing in every month and every year. 2026 is going to be a banger of a year, and there's going to be more to play than ever before. I know you think that you just hit the end of the video, and technically, yeah, you have. And I know your first reaction is to close out of it at this juncture, but don't. No, instead, I urge you to take a moment here and click one of the videos on screen that are coming up in just a moment, so you remain up to date with everything going on in the gacha genre. Trust me, you're not going to regret doing so. Stay flaccid.